Welcome to Botanical Trails Through the Juniper Forest. I'm your host, Brian Heater. Each week, I'll have a different guest join me to explore a pair of interesting gins. We'll chat a little bit about the gin and the distilleries, throw in a bit of trivia, hopefully laugh a bit, and then we'll go off the beaten path. Although I say that this is a podcast about gin, really this is just an excuse for me to spend time with my friends. But that'll just be our secret. Okay, let's start exploring. My guests today are my cousin-in-laws, also known as the Outlaws. It is Beth Jester, Andy King, and one of our favorite returning guests, Alyssa Jester. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting us.
You
We're
bet.
having fun.
So, I recently was down in South Carolina. We went down there for my uncle's 80th birthday to Charleston, and I had a chance to get out and visit a couple of distilleries when we were down there. And that led to me, of course, picking up a couple of gins. So I thought it was slightly appropriate that when I was visiting some cousins down there, we would then have these gins up here as we're all cousin-in-laws. So today we're trying two gins from South Carolina. This is also the first time we've ever had three guests along with me on the show. Right. So the format will be a little different. We're also debuting some new trivia today that I will talk about. So anyhow, I'm excited that you guys came to join us. So
do we get to try these now?
Yes. So the first gin we are doing is Striped Pig gin. So give this a little try.
Cheers.
You don't need to do a try. You can do a little sip of it. But thanks for coming.
Are we supposed to snort after?
Snort? That's when we do the cocaine. Just kidding.
That's what you would hope.
Yes, then we can talk about that later. So,
spicy.
Yeah, it's a little, it is a little different. And then I made a gin and tonic.
Get ya.
So this is with the Mediterranean tonic and a little splash of lime. So give the cocktail a try.
I think my taste buds are slightly burnt, but this is good still.
Yeah. Oh, you mean that little taster kind of just did some damage. So, okay. Striped gin. So this is, like I said, out of a distillery in South Carolina called Striped Pig Distillery. This is like one of the simpler gins I've had on the show. There's only 4 botanicals, including juniper, lavender, and orange peel, which is also the second time in like a couple of episodes we've had lavender, because Andy was on a couple of episodes ago. One of those gins also had lavender. So the Gin Is In website describes this as a contemporary style gin that invites fans of floral styles to step up for a closer look. So if you enjoy like Hendrix or something along that, especially some of their new versions that are definitely more floral, this is something that you may like. And for them, it's a winner in their opinion in terms of like the floral category in terms of this gin. So the Striped Pig Distillery, it was Charleston's first distillery since Prohibition. So they opened in 2013, and they had just celebrated their 10-year anniversary last June. We actually went in and we got to do a tasting of it. And they do a bunch of different products. We met with one of their staff members, Remy, and he was great and like super helpful. So they do like bourbon, gin, vodka, rum. They got variations on a couple. So we actually ended up picking up a vodka of theirs that's like an espresso infused vodka that was good. And then my mom picked up one of their whiskeys to try with like her old fashions that she loves. So so they had a number of different things. Now you may ask, where does the name Striped Pig come from?
You read my mind.
Yeah.
Yes. So well, it goes back to 1838 when in Massachusetts they had something called the 15-Gallon Act. So what they wanted to do was kind of temper down people drinking. So they passed a law that you could only buy alcohol in quantities of 15 gallons or more. So that priced
Or more?
How
does that temper people
because
drinking?
It priced the average person out of being able to buy alcohol. They couldn't afford to buy 15 gallons of it when they would just normally go to the bar and get like, a drink. So, so this kind of clever guy comes up with an idea. So there's like a fair going on. So he gets like a regular pig and then he paints stripes on it. So, and then he starts charging a fee to go into this tent to look at this most unnatural curiosity, this striped pig. Well, it happened if you went in to look at the striped pig, you got like a little thing of rum. So it was really a way for him to start selling rum.
Because he probably bought the 15-gallon.
He bought the 15-gallon, and then he would sell it this way, but he was really only selling like a ticket. So it was much like when we were in college and, you know, you were selling, you could buy a solo cup, but it just happened there was a keg there that you could fill up. So, so anyhow, that's where striped pig came from. And then for a while, that was like, I think it ended up in like cartoons and stuff back in the day to kind of denote like people who were drinking and things like that. So, but that's where that name came from. So,
what does their logo look like?
I will show you the bottle when it's a striped pig on the bottle. So, yeah.
Yeah, this tastes like that Hendrick's Midsummer Night Gin.
Yes,
that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah. So I've tried, I think, two of their variations. Whatever the newest one is, I think I haven't had yet. So, but yeah, it's
I like
a little bit more floral. Do you? Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yes.
I think it's like, since there's only 4 botanicals in it, like nothing overwhelms really, and it just seems to be a nice kind of smooth, even gin.
Since it's the least amount of things, are we now just going to call it the boring pig gin?
We could. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that we had more botanicals than the other one. I'm like doing this podcast with you.
You mean the 2 Japanese ones we did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all of them in general.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think if I've done another gin yet in the first 2 seasons that have only had like 4 botanicals. So I'm not sure. Not too many. So
very simple and like refreshing.
So have any of you been down to like Charleston before?
No, but I want to.
No.
I've not.
But mainly because I watched Southern Charm.
Oh, okay. My uncle was in the Navy, so he was a submariner down there. So I went down there when I was like 6, and then I went down when I was in my late 20s for lunch one day because I had been in Myrtle Beach for a thing. But this is the first time then I really spent time there as an adult, and we just hung out in North Charleston. But we went to, like I said, a couple of these distilleries and then a couple breweries. I swear there has to be some type of zoning law that they can't have like a frontward facing like establishment. Like it would, you'd follow your map.
Go in the back door.
You follow your map and you pull in, and it's like sort of like an industrial thing or like somewhere, and you're like, where are we? And then you would like look, and then you're like, I think we go down this alley. And like, and there it is, and that's how it would be. So we were just sort of cracking up, trying to like find these places.
So it was kind of designed like a speakeasy kind of thing, or
I don't know if it was speakeasy or they just, were like, okay, well, you can have these things in certain places, but they're going to be like off the street, sort of. Although there was one, the one that we'll do next. It was a tasting room, but they were like sort of on a corner. But the other places, it was slow. It was slightly kind of crazy, just like finding these places. So,
what is the name of the street that it's on? Is it King Street?
What, the distillery?
Yeah,
I don't know if they.
so that's like the main stretch.
Oh no, this was like in North Charleston. This was
Got it.
not anywhere off any main strip.
You were off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely off the beaten path finding these places. Yeah, it was pretty good. So
did you go there with like a list of places that you wanted to try out, like places you had heard of, or were you just kind of let's stumble upon and discover some new?
Yeah, we actually just went down there. My uncle turned 80, so we went down for his birthday. But we were down there and we just had like some time on our hands. So like the first night we went over to his place and had dinner, but then after it was Jen, my mom, and I was like, well, let's go somewhere. So we went and tried a brewery that night, and it was good. And then the next day we had an afternoon open, and I was like, hey, there's a couple distilleries, like let's go check those out. So we went to a couple distilleries and then ended up trying another brewery or 2 later in the trip. Yeah, so it was just like down there and just kind of seeing what was around. So
how long is the drive?
It was like 14 hours from my mom's in Kalamazoo. So we had driven down to mom's and then left from there. So the first day we just drove like down to just south of Charlotte. So it was about 11-hour drive. And then it was like quick 3 hours. And then we drove all the way back to my mom's on Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
Okay. So we're all cousin-in-laws, but we're also... So Alyssa and I are married to siblings.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then you 2 are married to siblings who have both been guests this season.
Yes.
So you, Beth, you are.
I'm Adam Jester's wife. Yes.
And Andy.
I am Andy Jester's spouse.
Yes.
Yes. So. Right. So who's been in the family the longest? You, right?
Have I? I think so. I mean, I guess I've been around since 2000. But I mean, we got married in 2006. So...
Yeah, and then Jen and I got married in 2010.
Gosh, I guess I didn't realize that.
And Scott and I have been dating since 2010, got married 2016.
Yeah.
Oh,
So...
and you were...
2013 is when we met.
Yeah.
So,
But when did you get married? Was it just right after, like a year after us, right?
2017. Yeah, you got 16, right? Yeah, 17.
Well, I always say I hit the in-law lottery because
I know.
this is a great group of outlaws, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, I always love those little pictures we do. My favorite one is from your wedding, Andy.
It is.
Like,
I know.
that one's great. But the last two at Christmas have been really good.
Yeah.
What was that thing you said when you sent out that picture?
Oh, that annual documentation on who married up. So all of the Jesters clearly married up. We're the prizes. The prizes here.
It was obvious. No question. Yeah.
We make the whole family that much cooler. So yeah.
But it was always fun when we get together. And then it's also kind of funny, I was just thinking about it. We have one outlaw that we apparently...
Don't see all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But occasionally.
Did not mean to bring this down.
No.
Every family has them.
Yeah.
Yes. But I will say Christmas for our progressive party is always one of my favorite times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the picture is always funny, except sometimes like there's an eye issue. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Like, can't see some of my face. Sometimes that's good. But we should make it more often than just the once a year.
Yeah. Well, and as I was coming over for the podcast tonight, I realized, like, I don't think we've ever gotten together, the four of us, outside of a Jester function. So this is kind of fun, too, for all of us to be together and, you know, without our spouses in tow. So kind of a different vibe.
Yeah, and they get together. Well,
They do, yeah. Oh, yeah, you get invited to... How do you get invited to all the things, Brian?
Yeah,
you got
not
invited
fair.
to the Jester and the Outlaw stuff.
Yes, because it was like sort of like the guys' weekend that we used to do when we go to East Lansing. And
Oh, it's because you're a Spartan.
That's
It's
carried over,
Spartan thing.
because we had done a state.
I'm also a Spartan.
Yeah, I know. So I'm not sure like why that got lined up that way. So, but yeah, so I get to double dip, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm fairly social, right? You always like to tease me about that.
You do love to be social. We're the people that will hide if we see somebody that we know in the supermarket.
Absolutely.
And Brian will be the person that goes up to anyone and say, hey, I met you 5 minutes ago or 5 months ago for one time. Let's talk and see how you've been.
Yeah, it's sort of funny you say that. So I'm back at work. I think I mentioned that in the last episode, but maybe not. But I was taking a tour of our plastics plant yesterday, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden I look, and like this guy comes by in a high-low, and I was like, "Oh, Henry, I hired him. I'm gonna run up and say hi." So and then he looks, he's like, "Brian." I'm like, "Hey," and you know, yes. So
He was happy
You're
with
right.
it.
Yeah, because I'd hired him, and that's why they tend to like me because they have good thoughts when they think of me.
Yeah.
I'm like the good side of HR, and then I have my other friends.
You gave him the job offer.
Yeah, and my other friends on the other side of HR sometimes are the ones that the hires don't quite work out. They have to...
The bad news people.
Yeah, so we call ourselves the circle of life there. So I bring him in, but sometimes they have to, like, let him out.
Yeah. I have a question then. If you're seeing somebody in networking, maybe this is a good question for you, Beth. We were talking today about how somebody said, Alyssa, you're so good about being social, which is laughable because of the scenario that I just gave. But at work, I feel like I play a role. So I have to play this role in order to make sure that I have connections. And I have found in the last year to 2 years, women especially prefer a hug. And you seem more approachable and friendly if you give them a hug after you've met them. So now I don't love to hug, like people that I don't know, of course I won't hug my family. I just give them a hug and now it's not weird anymore. Sometimes it's a little weird, but do you ever feel the pressure to hug?
I wish that we would have left hugs in the workplace gone with COVID. Like, I wish they never would have come back after COVID. Hugs in the workplace, I'm not into it.
No.
So I don't even like shaking people's hands.
No.
Like, I could go without that for the rest of my life, too. Like, I'm not a...
Maybe a high five.
I get the handshake, but I can't think of, like, hug. Well, I guess that's not true. I guess I did hug a few people when I first got back there because they were
during COVID. Have somebody at the office. I didn't work with him. He was not like an employee at my company, but he was a visitor to the office, and so I was being reintroduced to him, and I had met him before at a trade show, and it was still we were still masking. We were still. It was like in the thick of COVID time, no vaccine yet. And he tried to hug me, and I ducked, straight up, ducked down and dodged. It was quite the move. So
what happened after? What were the exact words in the conversation after?
I think we all kind of laughed it off, and I did get an apologetic email later, but we still joke about it at the office. So it was quite the moment.
I love that.
So the folks you're hugging, are they your customers because you're going out and...
Some are customers. Actually, last week I had an awkward one because this was funny. I think she might have been going to shake my colleague's hand who was with me. He's my treasury management advisor. And I thought she was going in for a hug after I shook her hand. And I said, I'll take a hug too. That's fine. And then I went and I hugged her. And then she didn't even shake my hand after. After the meeting. So I was like, okay, so that probably wasn't a hug. But normally I would be mortified, but now it's been so, like I've said, I can easily make things awkward that I just am no longer phased.
I try to strategically position myself across a long table and wave at people from oh, it's nice meeting you all. Hello. And
see, I would love that, but I feel like people will think that I already have a very good RBF. Yeah. So if I'm not overly friendly, people just don't think that I like them. But I do. I just from afar.
Do you feel pressure to do that because your job is customer facing and you want to make them happy and relaxed and all that?
Yeah.
Do you
I was going to say, Andy's probably got a very unique...
I don't have to. I'm fortunate where I haven't really had too many people approach me for a hug, but I'm also... This is on another branch of this tree here. But I'm the kind of person who doesn't... you're passing someone in the hall at work, and every day... This is just a thing for me. I'm just a major introvert. But they'll say good morning, I'll say good morning, but then they'll go and you're going at a fast pace, opposite direction. And it's kind of on the highway. And then they're like, well, how are you going? And then I have to spell fine. And then they go fine too. And then it's just every day, a couple of these people say, how are you doing? And I'm like, I never understood why people do that when they're
passing quickly.
Just do a hi.
It's an
or morning. I just say morning to everybody. And it's it's one thing if they're standing or they walk up to me and it's conversational, but it's kind of okay, we need to stop what we're doing and now have a conversation. And it's
I feel like that's a Midwest nice automatic thing. People say it without even thinking about it.
They don't really care if you
that's
respond.
Why I know, but I always feel like I should respond because I'm oh gosh, I didn't say the right, or I'll spit out the wrong word, and because I'm going at a fast pace and I'm not thinking. But that's my awkward.
So you think it's bad if I get back to my desk then and I'm they didn't tell me how they're doing fine, and then I send them a Teams message and I'm are you? I'm just kidding. I'd never do that.
You would do it.
I would not do that.
I'm concerned.
I would not do
fine?
that. Actually, my bad thing is I'm so bad with names, which is why I work in HR.
I was going to say that.
That's why I work in HR. But I am so bad with names, and now there are so many people in the company that I've hired, and I recognize them by face. I will know, except for that COVID bit when I was working from home. But most of the time, I will recognize them.
Yeah.
And they'll know me and it is.
But you don't have to go oh, hey, Mike. Nobody really does that.
They know my name.
That's fine.
They do that at work for me, but I always just say morning because I've said the wrong name a couple times, and I'm because I worked during COVID, and we were definitely everyone had to wear masks where I worked, and it was very awkward when I'm calling them the wrong name, and so I won't say their name. I'll just say good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, pal.
Yeah, I fall back on
buddy.
Bud and buddy all the time.
Oh, and I don't like it when people say your name a lot. Hey, Alyssa, how are you? How are you doing, Alyssa? And it's just two Alyssas. That's weird.
Oh.
Something.
Yeah,
weird.
you can just say it once, and it's good.
Yeah, but
and then you can just be how's it going?
Yeah, I get you know my name. You're just making it weird now. Right?
Yeah, why you keep saying my name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's they're trying to trick you into something.
Right?
You know, like you
It
don't
seems
keep
a
saying my
little
name.
creepy.
You've acknowledged you know me.
Yeah, but are you winning?
Isn't that like a thing where people like hearing their names, so you're supposed to say it a lot? Like the whole like
I don't
concept
know.
of winning people over. What
No,
is that?
I would be with Alyssa. I'd be
hate
like,
it.
why do you
Yeah.
keep calling me by my name? Like,
Yeah.
we're just having a conversation now.
And like I know my name's Alyssa, but like nobody really says it often. Like I'm Mom or like a nickname like Liz. That could be something that's more than Alyssa. But you've been
Wait,
doing
do people call you Liz as a nickname? Mm-hmm. I did not know that.
Yes.
What would you like us to call you going forward?
Whatever you want, just not say it multiple times.
Have you ever done like tried an androgynous name, like going by Al or something like that? I'm very jealous of people who can do this because I cannot
know.
do this with my name.
Yeah. In basketball, like junior high, or maybe it was like sophomore year, I don't know. My coach called me Al, but I didn't know he was calling me Al, so I never like turned to him. And then I think one year somebody at Huntington called me Al, and also something I just had to get used to.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, real quick, what position were you playing?
Oh, in junior high, I
were
was
you point
center. I
guard?
was the tallest
Oh, you're the center?
in junior high, but I've been this height since junior high.
Which coach was calling you? Was it the junior high coach? Or so you weren't like the point guard and he was like, Al, run, and you're just like, I don't know who that is. I'm running my own play.
No, I was probably on the bench. Let's be real. He was like, "Hey Al, do you want to play? I guess I'll give you some time." But it wasn't.
Maybe
like,
he was calling you the wrong name on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she won't listen, and then I'll have to keep the other players in. Or
That is true. Or if he could learn that he could say my name multiple times, and that would just fire me right
yeah,
up.
there you go.
Yeah, you never know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
Also, sorry, I was thinking about this when you were saying it. I always have people tell me the most random things. They love to tell me things.
Oh yeah.
like strangers?
Strangers
Coworkers.
and coworkers.
Oh yeah.
Some people that I kind of have relationships with. Like I remember going in Toledo when I worked in Toledo. We had 10 floors, and I was in the elevator, and I walked on, and I just said, "Hey, how are you doing?" He was like, "Not good. I just got divorced today." And I was like,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
"This has got real deep real fast." This why I don't ever want to ask you how you're doing.
I think that's why I don't like it, because
Yeah.
if I'm not having a good day, I still lie and say I'm fine or I'm doing good, you know.
Maybe
and
when you are
I
having a good
appreciate
day,
that.
just because
stuff up.
because I don't like telling people, you know, what's bothering me or whatever, because it's personal.
But what if you started making up crazy stuff and then they stopped asking you?
Ooh,
This could be a new strategy.
There's a network there. They're gonna be like, "Oh gosh, he's nuts" or something.
You know what? Talk about your bowels. Nobody never.
Well, you're having a pretty crappy day, let me tell you.
Good thing I live so close to here. I might be heading home soon.
Never.
Not sure what I had for dinner last night.
I don't know.
So I don't get that, but what I get is like, I'll get people who just pick me out of just strangers to like come to me to ask like a question to try to, you know, so always I would get,
like Brock.
this was before he was on, this was before he was on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So like at State, did you guys have was the Tundra out there when you were there? It was just this big open, it was over
By what building?
It was by Case and Wonders and Wilson and Holden. We had this just big spot. So
there.
anyhow,
That's where like
we
the athletes were. I was like not.
Yeah, that's why I was
that.
there.
That's
So,
why I was not there.
But so we'd walk across that, but like students would come across and they'd be like, "Hey, where can I find blah blah blah?" And they'd ask me. In Italy, I would have people come up to me trying to ask me questions in Italian, and I'd be like,
You must
I
just look
couldn't answer.
confident.
But the weirdest one was I was at the circus at Madison Square Garden in New York, right? So you're with like 20,000 strangers.
Yeah.
This lady comes up and she's like, "Can you take my son to the bathroom?"
What?
Yes. And I was like, because I was like in line, and I was like, yeah, okay. And like we go, and like, I mean, she didn't know me from anybody.
I was trying
But I made sure the
must
kid
look
washed his
trustworthy.
hands. Yes, I look, I think, very
How old
trustworthy, so.
was this?
He was probably like between, I would guess, like 6 and 8. So he was at an age where I don't think the mom or grandma, whatever she wasn't comfortable like taking him into the ladies' room like at that point.
Yeah.
But out of everybody, like me, and then now I feel responsible for the kid. So, but
Yeah, what if
anyways.
she would have left?
Oh my God,
wow.
Alyssa, I didn't even think of that. That would have.
Yeah.
Well, I would have sold them on the black market.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
I would have just been more concerned if the kid said something like he was looking at me or something. Or,
Nah, he was just like,
Okay.
he was just like, I don't know who you are. I'm like, yep. And then we're done.
Did he ask for help wiping or anything? That would be...
No, thank God it wasn't that. But I think I did, I was like, hey, wash your hands. I don't know. So, all right. Are you guys ready for, it is new trivia. So, the last episode, which hasn't come out yet, but we finished gin trivia. So, Brian Place, who has been a 2-time guest, bought these new trivia, which is trivial drinking trivia. So that is what we're going to debut today. And then we had talked about, just with the way we're set up today, you guys are going to play as a team.
Yep.
So I will ask you a question, and then we will see. Oh, that's not going to be good if you guys can see the back of this. Oh, wait,
We can't.
Well, okay. Oh, never mind. Okay. All right. So this is a question about drinking laws around the world.
Okay.
All right. So, and it's multiple choice.
I'm prepared to get it wrong.
It's multiple choice. So, what punishment could you face in El Salvador
Oh, wow.
if you are caught driving while intoxicated? Your options are A, life in prison, B, the firing squad, C, a $250,000 fine, or D, banishment. I'm not sure what you're being banished from. It doesn't say, just
the country?
banishment.
What was the first one?
Yes. So what punishment could you face in El Salvador if you were caught driving while intoxicated? And again, the options are A, life in prison, B, the firing squad, C, a $250,000 fine, or D, banishment.
C. I was going to say A or C would be my guess.
I was going dark with the firing squad. But I do think it's probably A or C. Yeah.
I'm going with C just because I feel like their jails would be full or something.
Yeah. I was also thinking it's got to be like F, like they're going to give you a raise or something there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not F, I know.
All right. So we're going with the fine?
Yeah.
You guys are going with a $250,000 fine.
You're saying that like that's the wrong answer.
No, I'm asking. That's what your
Final answer.
That's your final answer.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Alyssa was right with the darkness. It is the firing
my
squad.
God.
What?
Yes.
Oh man.
So note to self: if in El Salvador,
Just don't
Uber.
go. Just don't go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
I would hate to see what jaywalking is there.
Right?
Now I need to know if there is actual Ubers in El Salvador.
I don't know. We'll have to check that out.
Happens if
I
your
gotta
dog
take
poops
notes.
on the grass or
yeah?
something.
Yeah.
Or
All
just-
right. Well, I will go get our second drinks ready, and we will be back.
Okay.
All right, we are back. Our second gin from Charleston is Aurora Gin. We're going to try the tasting a little bit different. Beth has recommended we do the cocktail first, then we're going to taste the sipper, and then we'll go back to the cocktail. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers. A lot of drinking.
It smells like a Jolly Rancher.
Oh.
Can I taste like it?
Yeah. It's like sweeter.
Yeah. All right, so try the gin, then I'll tell how I made the gin and tonic. So
Oh,
I know.
that tastes like burning.
I
don't like it straight.
straight?
For this one.
Yeah, it's strong.
What does
Ooh.
it taste like? It's like that 5 Olives vodka. You know, they had all like different flavors.
Okay, well, just go back and take a sip of the cocktail, and you'll be okay.
the cocktail's good.
Oh, sorry.
I'm glad we did it this way.
Yeah, that happens occasionally though. Like the gin will be like really strong or overpowering,
Yeah.
but when you mix it with something,
else.
it's like really good. So, all right, I have to look this up because so I was doing my homework this week on this gin. Real quick, so this gin comes from Nipatati Distillery down in North Charleston, and they make 2 styles of gin. They only make gin and vodkas out of this distillery, but on their website, they only had their original gin. And so I was like, well, is the Aurora, like they just took it and what they do is they add, as they do with a lot of these gins that have this like purple or violet or blue color, they added butterfly pea flowers to it. That's what gives it the color. So I wrote the distiller. They gave him his email address I could find on their website, and he actually wrote me back. So I had inquired. I was like, "Did you just take your original gin and like add this, or does it have its own like distinct recipe?" And he wrote back, and so here's his exact thing. "Hey Brian, that's a good question. Aurora does have its own unique recipe. I kept it similar to the original gin, but Aurora has a slightly different citrus nose, which is made of lemon and orange peel, and an earthy body, which includes cardamom, coriander, some juniper, and then the pea flower extract, which is the butterfly pea flower extract, which provides the color and a little bit of a different flavor." So their original gin, if I remember correctly from reading about it, had 12 botanicals in it. So this one's probably a little bit similar. This gin, the Aurora, came out in 2022, and they wanted to sort of create something that was similar to Empress, but they wanted to make it a bit deeper purple color. So if you look at the bottle, it's, a little bit
Empress?
darker. What?
Did they name
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
In a news article that I had read. So, so what I did to make this, because what I have found is when you take these gins that are with the butterfly pea, I use elderflower tonic from Fever Tree, and I find that complements it pretty well. In fact, when I had it the other night, it took me a second to think of like what was I tasting, and to me, for the way I made that one, it was similar to like grape Kool-Aid almost a little bit.
Yeah,
I was gonna say a grape
like
Jolly
when you
Rancher.
said a Jolly, or
Yeah.
you said a Jolly
No,
Rancher.
she did, but it just clicked in my brain. I'm like, yeah.
So, and I didn't add it to this because I wasn't sure how it would complement with the elderflower, but another thing I've heard is a good garnishment for it is to use lemon. So, but you might want to try like a more neutral gin and then a little bit of lemon. And I guess with the lemon, it does something that you can really like see it like hit the gin. So, Nipatati Distillery, they opened in 2017. So the name Nipatati is defined as a particularly good and strong liquor. So, and gin was the first spirit
Like a
that
nip,
they made.
like you have a nip of.
Sort of, yeah. I think it's like an Italian word. I didn't look up the origin of it, but and their original gin was like a new wave style, so kind of like, it would be not floral like Hendrix, but it's when gin started to come around and they went away from like the London Dry, the very like juniper forward style. So like their regular gin is not so much like juniper forward, so it's a little more citrusy sort of. So, and like I said, they just make gin and vodka. Now on their bottle they have a picture of a cicada on it, and they said that they put the cicada on there for two reasons. So one, it's to denote their organic methods and earth-friendly practices in terms of how they get their botanicals and how they distill everything. And then two, it reminds the distiller of hot summer evenings growing up in North Carolina, and he would hear cicadas out on his back porch. And that's sort of like the nostalgia that they want to bring to their brand, a distinct Southern comfort that creates new memories that they hope last a lifetime. So the nice thing, though, about this exchange, his name is Traxler Littlejohn. Then he wrote me back again last night, and he's like,
That feels like not a real name.
no, it's his name.
Okay.
No, because I saw it, and it's his name. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but like Gibbon,
But-
did you see his birth certificate?
All right, I haven't seen his birth certificate, but as far as I can tell, in any news,
I mean, it's a solid name, but
it's
it
a
feels
great
like he
name,
named
yes.
himself
Oh,
that
yeah.
maybe.
Oh,
Does he
maybe.
have a mustache?
Okay, you guys are killing me right now because he offered to be on.
What? Are we going to dial him in right now? Is
No,
this
we
a
can't
surprise?
because it wasn't going to work. Like, I wasn't sure how this was going to work with everything, but I did buy also a bottle of their original gin. So with all this high-end technology, as you guys can see right here, I am going to try to figure out a way to maybe do like a one-off with him and then do like a little episode, but to talk about that gin, but to have a distiller on.
If you
so.
do that, can you edit out my comment about his name?
Nope, too late. I don't know how to do that. So.
Well, I'm sorry. It's a great name. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
solid. I'm just curious if it's your given name, Mr. Littlejohn.
I'll make that a trivia question.
Okay.
Trivia,
Perfect.
is this your real name?
I have the Robin Hood
So-
theme in my head now.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
I will say at first taste, I wasn't sure I liked it.
I like the elderflower tonic. I've never had that before.
The elderflower tonic?
Oh, yeah.
It complements some gins like really well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I'm kind of a tonic snob. So I know you use Fever Tree.
You're the one who introduced me to...
Did I? Was that... Okay.
You introduced me to Mediterranean tonic, and that was like introducing me to
I did
cocaine.
that? I did that?
You did. At your house. Yeah.
So, I was gonna... I didn't realize that. I guess I had forgotten that I introduced you to it, because that is my favorite tonic. And probably after I introduced it to you, I all of a sudden... Because I used to buy it on Amazon, and all of a sudden it got really expensive and hard to find, so I'm thinking you were buying it all up under me. Probably. Because I keep listening to all the episodes, and it's like, and this one's with the Mediterranean tonic. Because you can get it now, but for like a solid year there, I could not find it. I couldn't get...
Was it during COVID?
I don't remember.
Because COVID was super, like, it jacked up a lot of...
Yeah, the yellow one I think you could find, but it's
yellow one's easy. But it's not like the light. So you have to go, you can't get it at Meijer, you have to go to like the Total Wines or Megabev.
Or a liquor store. Or a nicer liquor store will have it, yes. Okay. And I have no idea why like Meijer or the grocery stores don't care.
But the Mediterranean is the best.
One.
What's the green one?
Elderflower.
Yeah. Elderflower's great. What's the purple one then?
Purple is...
Is it like the purple pink, like grapefruit?
Purple for a bit they had, it was their club soda. But they've moved to like a different... Now it's a different color on that label for club soda, but I've seen both out. And then they've got the light blue, which is their light Indian premium. And then they've got their darker yellow, which is Indian premium. And then they've got their light premium, which is like a light yellow.
I've tried some, it's the best. I've tried some of the other ones.
Yeah.
The other like premium ones too, and I feel like they're the best.
The green one is good too. I'll never remember what the actual names of them are.
You mean the Elderflower?
Just call them the colors.
Or did you get, you can find cucumber occasionally too, which is great with a Hendrix.
Oh, it's not cucumber, it's the other.
It's the Elderflower.
I like to slice my cucumber and put it in my tonic. So
with Hendrix?
Any gin tonic.
Juice tonic.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, and actually, I've been, there's a liquor store, an alcohol-free liquor store. It's kind of an oxymoron.
What?
Down on Leonard.
Is it
called? What is it called? I forget what it's called, but it's right across from like
it's called
Brands.
Prohibition Is Us.
I don't know, but I get my sister doesn't drink, so when she comes into town, I always try to get an assortment for her, and then like I don't like to drink like a lot during the week. Like this is unusual for me to be sitting here with you guys on a Wednesday and having a cocktail. So I will start making myself like mocktails, and they have a pretty decent gin there that I'll mix with the Fever Tree Mediterranean tonic and a cucumber and like a sprig of rosemary, and it tastes like you're drinking a gin tonic.
Really?
Huh.
It's really
and does the
I can't remember the brand
does the like non-liquor gin is it sort of like a little bit juniper forward and stuff? And
yeah, it's like botanically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway,
that's interesting.
But yeah,
that's what I wish this one had a little bit more juniper.
I do like the juniper. I know that's what some people don't like about it, but that's what I do like.
Because it reminds me of, what's that restaurant that was downtown that had, you and I liked it. I feel like we saw you guys there for a date night on a...
Long Road?
Not Long Road. It's downtown across the street from Garage Bar. It's no longer there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's the Chicago beef joint now, but before that it was...
But do you remember their...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. And they had like... It looked just honestly like this, and then it had a ton of juniper in it, and then it was just really good.
Because that place had a really good gin selection, and actually they've carried that over in the Chicago beef place, but I know... Oh, really?
Yeah, that was their house gin.
Where'd they get it from? Because they didn't have like a still in the back or anything.
It is just impressive that I remembered that right now.
I don't even remember seeing you there.
Yeah.
So I'm really impressed.
Yeah, it was the gin. Must have been the gin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I also didn't remember that I introduced Brian to the tonic, so I don't remember anything when I've got a gin and tonic in me, apparently.
Yeah.
No, because I had the Mediterranean at your place, and then at your place for the Jester Progressive one year, you had the Malfi gin from Italy, and then you had like the light blue premium tonic, which was good. And then I went to the store one day, and I was like, "Oh, that Malfi was good." And the only bottle they had though was their lemon infused, which I didn't remember what bottle we had, and so I just grabbed that one.
Yeah.
And then that one I discovered
worked really good together.
Worked actually really good with a San Pellegrino, their citrus tonic. That was unbelievably good. But I cannot find that tonic like anywhere right now.
I've seen the Topo Chico came out with tonic recently. I haven't tried that. That's one I want to try. But maybe you should have a tonic.
What one do you like best?
I love the Mediterranean one.
Yeah.
Beth
It is
makes
the best.
wonderful cocktails. Yeah, with the little sprigs of rosemary and stuff.
And Adam is afraid of them. Like if I try to put a garnish in his drink, he is like.
Why? Because is he afraid it's going to like go up his nose or something?
I think he's afraid it's going to go in his mouth. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want any sort of garnish in his beverage.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Like
Scott loves a garnish.
Scott loves.
Yeah.
Does he actually?
If you could put 16
will he
umbrellas.
eat the garnishes though? Like if there's like a cherry or an orange slice, like will he actually? Obviously not a rosemary sprig.
Right. I think so.
Okay.
He wouldn't eat like a lime or like an orange.
Like I'll fish a cucumber out of my tonic.
Yeah.
You don't think he would if that thing just got like soaked up with alcohol? You don't think he would then eat that at the end?
No, he gets really weird about, especially out places about it. But I think he would eat like a cherry.
I like the candied cherries.
Yeah, but he does love a garnish. Anything that makes it more like
an umbrella. Like
If you could put like
fancy
3 umbrellas,
slur.
2 sparklers, and like half a fruit stand in a drink and gave it to Scott, he would be like, this is the best thing ever.
And you know, honestly, it's like a Jester. They love gimmicks.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, he would be all for it. So anything.
Party in the glass, right?
When we go
That's
to
what he calls
Disney,
it.
Drew is always
Yeah.
getting, like, if you can get, like, the drink that's in a pineapple or in a coconut, that's what Drew wants.
You mean they're serving it like that's the...
The vessel. That's the cup.
That's the vessel to get it into.
Yes, the lapu lapu
Yeah,
at
they
the
cost like
Polynesian.
ridiculous amount of money, but it's so fun just to walk around with a pineapple. It's not the best beverage holder because it does sweat and drip. Sorry about that, but it's fun and it's like, and everyone's like, "Where'd you get that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And so it's up there at the bar, but but they're fun.
Yeah,
I mean, you're on vacation. I wouldn't do it every day, but yeah.
I would no, but I would also love that too. But Scott is the same. If he can have anything like that is more tropical, vacation-y, he's in.
There's a place in Chicago called Dot Dash Dash.
Oh,
Dash.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It literally looks like a fruit salad inside of a drink. Very fun.
Yeah.
Like a tiki bar. For those who don't know.
Or like a tiki mug. Mm-hmm. Those are fun too. But they're, again, not very... Like, all the souvenir glasses are never, like, practical to actually drink out of. They just look... They look like vacation.
Yeah.
And then they sit on the shelves.
Yeah.
In Vegas, one time I got a guitar.
Oh.
Guitar-filled drink. And I like walked up
Wait,
and had
what?
this drink. Oh, yeah.
Wait, how did you drink it? Was it like
it just like a
straw,
gimmicky
or...
guitar, or did it actually? Could you strum a tune on the guitar?
You could not strum a tune, but they did have a thing that you went
Like a
around your
strap?
neck. A strap.
Was it like an inflatable guitar? Like
It's a plastic guitar filled with alcohol, like a big daiquiri.
Was it like at the Hard Rock Cafe or something? Where did you
It was
get
like
that?
on the strip. Like you didn't have to go in anywhere. Probably
she bought it in a back alley. Hoped for the best.
So was it like a
It was fine. It all worked out.
sippy cup kind of thing?
Yeah.
No, it was huge. It was literally this big. I mean, it was probably like 100 ounces.
And what'd you get in it?
I think like a daiquiri or something.
Oh my gosh!
And they were like, "Do you want the extra
I think
shot?"
I would
And I
have
was
thrown
like,
up
"Yes."
before I finished it. Oh wow!
I don't know if I actually finished it, but it was something that I carried around with me the entire day.
So we do
I
have a
probably
question.
tried.
If we could find that vessel now, and we could fill it with Aperol Spritz,
Oh, here it
you-
comes.
would you want that?
Turns out I do love Aperol Spritz now.
Yes!
You were right. And it's very tasty. But I think when I made it, it was my first drink after I had Keller, my second. And I made it, or Scott made it. We can just always blame him. That's what I like to do anyway. It just wasn't good. And it tasted, I think you need less Aperol.
More spritz?
Yeah. Spritz.
Yeah.
And orange, like a nice orange.
I don't know that I've ever had one.
It was very
They're
good.
really
They're
good.
super
Yeah.
refreshing. Yeah. They are tasty.
I tend to like dig my heels in a little bit about trends. So if this is like the drink that everybody's getting, I'm like, I'm not. I'm not
they're
gonna
like-
get
I
that.
never
Yeah.
liked old fashions. Like I drank them, but I remember that was popular. And
What are those? Bourbon or whiskey? What are those?
whiskey. And Moscow Mules is another one.
That was a very trendy drink.
I didn't like them.
Yeah, but for like a year, that was like that was like the thing. Yeah. And everyone that was getting those copper mugs at home.
Yes, I think we even bought some copper mugs. I'm not sure we actually ever made a drink.
I have some. I think I've used them twice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but don't they have like lead or something in them? Probably. You're not supposed to use them.
Oh, what's that?
What?
Yeah, that's like a thing.
Well, that's a disaster.
I know.
Okay. Real quick, should we play that game that you and I played years ago at the bar where it's like, name the drug you've never had that you want to try?
I already know yours, so it's not going to be...
Should we tell them that story?
Yes. Okay. So we saw The Wolf of Wall Street. Jen, Brian, Scott, and I. And there's this part in Wolf of Wall Street, and they all do Quaaludes. And it's a funny part of the movie. And we were talking about that movie. It might have been right after, and we were relaying it to somebody else who's at dinner with us. And I was like, Brian, name the drug that you would want to do. Because we had this conversation, and I was assuming it was going to be Quaaludes. And all of a sudden, I was like, Brian, name it. And without it leaving my mouth, he was like, cocaine. And I was like, what?
No, we had this conversation. I think we'd seen that movie.
Yeah.
But then you and I had a conversation, and it was just like, because we don't do drugs, but we were like, if there was
I like how you whispered that drug.
But it was like, if you could try a drug, like, what drug would it be? And so we were having this conversation, and I don't think you had been dating Scott like that long. It was relatively new, and I was like, I don't want her to think too bad of me. So
you went with cocaine?
No.
Oh,
I told her.
Quaaludes. Way better.
No. I told you ecstasy.
Oh, that was right.
I told you ecstasy with, the hug drug, and it's not. And I was like, oh, no, that'd be fun, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so we had that conversation. Then, we were out to dinner with your friends, and you were like, Brian, what drug? And what you also didn't mention is when you said that, you were like, and you started to say ecstasy, and I was like, cocaine!
Yeah,
and that's one of the hardest times I've ever seen you laugh.
I was so shocked. I just was like crying,
and she was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I didn't want you to know, but I really would rather try cocaine.
It was still to this day like my best, funniest Brian memory, because it was just so... Like, how did that escalate so quickly?
I don't know.
You guys really did pick it up a notch.
I mean, it was... And to be clear, that is not mine, nor do I do drugs. And I honestly don't know if I'm just too tired to ever want to now.
Yeah.
Well, not right now. You're too busy.
Yeah. But, like, I can't even think about one. The Quaaludes, I thought, the movie made it sound fun.
Yeah, it looked fun. that did
in a
look
sad
enjoyable in the
way.
movie, yeah.
Yeah. It was really funny in the movie.
So do you two have one?
I've never given this
any thought?
question.
I've never even had a cigarette, so that's how. I'm very.
Wow. What about a candy cigarette as a kid?
Ooh,
I've done those.
I've done those hard.
They break your teeth though. The gum is always hard rock, and then you got to spit it out after like a minute.
Wait, yours were gum?
Yeah, they were gum cigarettes.
No, mine were like almost like the fun. They were like fun dip ones.
Those mint ones.
Almost like the fun dip sticks, but like skinnier.
Yeah. I've had both.
Wait, but it came in.
I'm a little more vague.
It came in like a little fake pack of cigarettes.
Wow, you are advanced, Andy.
Wait, was it the little fake pack of cigarettes?
It was.
Yeah.
So like that. The cool thing about it was it had it was a stick of gum, but it was like, and then you blew it out and you got that.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
That one puff of.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could blow out this.
What?
It's like, think of the powder that's on I'm trying to think of a gum that's kind of powdery.
Mm-hmm. You know, like the old-fashioned candies that kind of have like
like the old baseball cards and that hard gum, and it had almost like a coating of powder over it.
Yeah, it's that.
Which I always hope is cocaine as a kid.
It breaks your teeth. It tastes terrible after a minute.
You could puff it, and it would because the powder would go just.
So you have to wait. You get it all pulled. You wait for your buy someone. Then you just kind of do your one puff, and then you eat the awful gum.
Yes.
And then
all for the one puff.
We didn't have that in Luna Pier.
It was in this general we used to go.
You really missed out a lot.
There was a general store that had all the penny candy.
Yeah.
And so it would be like with the penny candy, those places are bulk candy. Those places that even exist anymore. So.
I think there are some old-fashioned candy stores.
I think the old-fashioned candy stores are kind of coming back. Like they're trendy.
I think it's the touch and feel, and you can kind of be in there and smell it, and
What's like the one candy that we think that is now that would be looked upon like we look at candy cigarettes now? Like, how absurd is it that we all had candy cigarettes?
I don't think so much about
oh, you mean like
about
out
like
now?
candy, but I think about the fact that like for like snack at school, I got sent with Dunkaroos, which was like cookies with frosting. Like that was like my healthy snack.
That was a healthy snack?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's like that
There's
was
some dairy in there.
It's like no wonder I was always hungry. I was like burning through sugary calories. Like somebody should have sent me with some protein.
Yeah.
To school. I don't know. So I don't think we'll think that they're like, yeah, I don't know. That's my one thing. I think like the 80s kids, we grew up on Dunkaroos.
Mm-hmm.
Pop-Tarts was
And Pop-Tarts was your
part of your balanced
It's like you had a Pop-Tart for breakfast, a Dunkaroo for
Yeah, I
your
got
morning
through all of
snack.
high school and middle school on those s'mores Pop-Tarts, and I was crashing by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I always felt like growing up, like they're like I wasn't a huge fan of, but like Twinkies, right? And they were popular, but they also had like a shelf life of like 50 years, and they could somehow survive a nuclear holocaust. I'm like, yeah, but should I be eating that then? Like,
I never really
maybe
ate
not the
Twinkies.
best idea.
My grandma bought them. She bought a lot of the Hostess stuff, and I'm like, why do you buy this? I don't like
Yeah, I
it.
wasn't a fan of the Twinkies either,
But-
so.
It was,
Me neither. Scott talks about the oatmeal cream pies, and he was like,
Oh,
that was like a treat.
my kids love those.
Yeah.
Wait, what are those?
I used to like the Little Debbie's.
Yeah.
Do you remember
they cookies?
they were in the big they were in Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and the big one fell on the ground and the kids find it.
It's like
and
two
a giant,
soft oatmeal.
I think as soon as you said
Cookie
oatmeal,
things.
It's like too healthy.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not good.
There's barely any oatmeal in it. It's more.
Yeah, sugar and...
It's more sugar and
Yeah.
whatever cakey kind of.
Yeah.
Now you put a powder coating on that thing, maybe you would think, no, I'm just kidding. So, okay. Let's try the second round of trivia to see if there's no death penalty with this
Okay.
one. And then,
Hoping for a little bit more upbeat question this time.
well, we'll find out. Okay.
How many people are on the firing squad?
How many people are on a firing squad?
Yeah, like...
It varies,
I hope to never
think.
find out.
But they also like issue a couple of people blanks, but they don't tell who does it. But that, yes. So every let's
How do you know so much about firing squads?
I'm not allowed to tell that. But let's say you get like 6 to 8 people. Okay, let's say there's 8 people. Mm-hmm. Only like 5 or 6 of them will be issued a real bullet, and a couple will be issued blanks. But they all look the same. But basically, it's so that everyone who fires thinks that maybe they had the blank and they weren't the one who.
Oh, that's kind of
So
nice.
it's like the guilt kind of.
Yes, yes. As opposed to like the guy who like string you up like he knew he did it, right? But this
Got
is
it,
for
got it.
firing squad. There's a couple blanks.
It's a little bit more humane. Sure.
I don't know about that.
On
Maybe
the
for
spectrum,
the
maybe. Do you think if you had a worse crime, you have more people on the firing squad?
I don't think so. It would just kind of. I think it's like who's on
More people
whose
with
shift
the
it is that day.
bullets?
Oh,
No, I'm just. I don't know. I don't. What?
Yeah.
you know what? This is bumming me out. Let's move on to positive trivia.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really upbeat one. I have a feeling.
Sure will be. During the Russian economic crisis of 1998,
It's just Russia. That's fine.
vodka was used to do what? It's again multiple choice. Answers are: sterilize medical equipment. B. Replace drinking water. C. C. Heat houses. D. Pay school teachers.
I'm going to say A or D.
A.
I feel like heating houses because I know you can burn it, and I'm trying to think of what is the
Maybe
biggest.
we should all pick a different answer this time and see who's
Well, you
right.
can't do that.
Oh.
You can't all pick a different one. You need to.
Well, then
you're
that person
playing
is
as
the winner.
You're playing as a team.
You know,
you need to have a consensus.
We can't change the rules as
We're
we
not
go.
changing the rules.
Oh,
no.
wow.
No way.
Okay,
No.
that's rude.
We can't do that, man. It'll screw up everything.
What was your answer?
I think A.
I forget what
I think
it was.
A or D.
All right.
Is that the medical
I
equipment?
will-
That would be my
okay.
that would be my second.
All right. During the Russian economic crisis of 1998, vodka was used to do what? Again, your options are A. Sterilize medical equipment. B. Replace drinking water. C. Heat houses. Or D. Pay school teachers.
Now I'm thinking C2. I don't know.
I was just thinking, just because I buy medical supplies, a lot of medical supplies, even in the 90s, I mean, everything is so disposable now. I don't know how Russia is, but like ever since probably the 80s when plastic just became much bigger, there's just so little things that get reused. But then again,
Okay.
so I don't.
Just tell us
So
the
what
answer,
is,
Brian.
Well, what is your guess? You need to know the
C?
guess. That's not helping.
Okay.
You have to pick one.
You think it's not A then, based on it? Okay,
that would be
then
my
we'll go
second.
with C.
Yeah.
We'll go with C. What was C?
C was heating houses.
Heating houses.
Nope.
Okay.
They were the happiest teachers ever. They got paid.
I said A and B.
Oh.
It's okay. I would have won if we could have changed the rules.
I know. And this would have been, you guys each would have won $100. So it's really unfortunate. Sorry.
Wow, bummer.
Man, that's a bummer. Okay. All right.
Next tag.
Ready for everyone's favorite segment, Off the Beaten Path?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will go first, and then we're just going to work our way around
Perfect.
the table that none of the listeners can see. Okay. My topic is a band. Actually, it's an album. And I don't know that much about it. A couple weeks ago, Jim sent me a couple of these songs from a band I had never heard of. They're called Camera Obscura. And I was like, what is this? So it ends up they're a Scottish band. They formed in like the late 90s. I've never heard of them. But the two songs he sent me are off their 2003 album called Underachievers Please Try Harder. And I'm sorry, I love that album name. It just makes me laugh.
That
every
is
time.
a good name. I like that a lot.
So Underachievers Please Try Harder. And that's, but that album, like from start to finish, I can just listen to it. And it's sort of like, so it's something I'd never heard of. It's called twee pop. And I was like, what is that?
That's a genre?
Yes, something I'd never heard of.
It's only in Scottish music.
It is. I don't think it's only Scottish music, but this twee pop is characterized by its simplicity and perceived like innocence. And I can't say that's the case for like all of their albums, but this album is sort of like, it's not like easy listening rock where it's
Like
something
bubblegum
like
pop?
I don't know what that is, but it's like super like easy to listen to, but it's got like a good tune to it. And anyhow, I've not been able to stop listening to this album since he sent it to me, and I just really didn't want to do a movie again because that's all I've done to start this season. But I think this album's great. I sent it to my niece Ezzy. I was like, check this out.
You're trying to be like cool Uncle Brian.
Well, I don't have to try, Alyssa.
Oh, sorry,
just kidding.
Forgot.
I have to try very hard. But no, but it is. I think it's just a really good album, and so that is my selection for Off the Beaten Path.
I like it. Love it. I'll have to give
All
it a
right,
listen.
Beth, you are up.
Okay. I brought kind of show and tell for mine, which nobody can actually see, but you can hear it. I can sound effects. Yeah, you guys can see. How many listeners do you have now?
Like 4.
Okay, so all 4 of you can't see this, but so I know most of your guests like to do like a book or a movie or a show or something like that. This is a little bit more analog, but it is something that I like to do with a gin and tonic, is a puzzle. And it's not just like your average puzzle. This is a brand of puzzles that my sister got me into called Artifact Puzzles, and she was into this way before they became popular with COVID, like when everybody was like running out of puzzles. This was so she got me hooked on these a couple of years before COVID, and they're really cool and interesting because they are like thick wooden pieces, and so you can't like destroy them. You would like a cardboard puzzle, but they're like pieces of art, and they actually smell good. Like they have like I think it's like cherry wood or something like that. And they're like just really intricately cut pieces, and they're very, very challenging. Most of them have like they don't have like square edges. They've got like little surprise pieces in them. A lot of them have like a theme. So this one that I have here is like a spider's web, and there might be like some of the pieces themselves might be like shaped like spiders that are within there. So they're kind of like these little like surprise and delight. So I have, I don't know, I think like a half dozen of these now, but they're like $50 puzzles. Like they are not cheap because they are like cut with a jigsaw and in these thick wooden pieces that you put together. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
I have a friend who's into those, and I've gotten them a present, and it's very similar. Where it's not those exactly, but
I brought this one that looks. It looks like this one reminds me of like the Mediterranean.
Yeah, it looks like one of John's pants.
Like it looks like Cinque Terre or something.
But they will do like it'll be like the head of a fox, or it'll be like a rabbit. Yeah. But then like some of the pieces, like you said, are like shaped. They're like shaped like bunnies and stuff. Yeah, they're really cool.
Oh, that's
a great
the surprise. Is like some of them are shaped like that.
Yes,
that's cool.
Yes. So and there's usually like almost like a twist to it as you get into it that So it's kind of like grown up puzzles, but they're fun to do, and good to do if you're bored on the week, or if you're a puzzle person in general. It's kind of a splurge, but they're fun.
Nice. All right. Good one. All right. AK, you're up.
Okay, mine's a little off the beaten path.
That's the
So, I'm going to talk about smart light bulbs. I recently, probably about a year ago, I finally bought smart light bulbs for my house. There's multiple companies out there that do them, but these ones, I won't say a brand because I don't know about legal issues and stuff.
You can, because maybe we'll send you free light bulbs.
Okay.
We talked about Fever Tree and stuff, so I think you can say your favorite brand of light bulbs.
So Philips, if you've heard of it, they make these light bulbs where you basically, it's just like a light bulb. It looks like an LED bulb. You screw it into a lamp. If you're capable of doing that, you don't need to have this separate hub or system, and you have a smartphone. You basically download the app, and you can instantly change the look and feel of your room without dimmers, without all these different tones of light color. My background's in interior design, so I'm very particular about lighting. So I love them, and the nice thing is you can hook them up to your Alexa, and you can set them at whatever dimness you want, and then you can adjust the brightness, and you can adjust the color temperature depending on the time of the day and what's going on. But I think if you haven't really explored them, try it just in a bedroom or something, and it's very life-changing, because now I only have them in half my house, and I'm saying Alexa, and the other rooms still have manual switches and such, and it's really nice just to be able to turn lights on and off.
Well, that's life-changing for me, because you bought a set of these for my daughter, who's 10, and anybody who has like a tween right now knows that they're obsessed with like putting LED strips of lights everywhere in their room, and those don't look good, and they rip the paint off the wall. And she loves these lamps so much that she like got rid of her other LED lights, so now she just has these very pretty lamps that have the light bulbs,
and you can change the color. I didn't mention that you can change the color to anything under the rainbow, and then also,
which she loves.
And if you're an adult and you don't want to have hot pink, or maybe you want to have hot pink lights on, you can change the temperature of just the normal light, whether you want like a warm, cozy 2700 Kelvin or a 3000, working or task light, like in kitchen or bathroom or something.
She mostly uses it for a disco party, but
I love that.
So
she's throwing disco parties up there.
Yeah, just her and her friends. Yeah, just
nice.
The lights just flashing like.
But if you haven't explored, you only have to buy the light bulb and you download the app. So
you don't have is there a plug, like, so because you set these up for her her when you got them for her.
It's literally just a light bulb.
I thought there was a plug in the wall too. It was just the light bulb? How did I not realize that? Okay,
they're called there's two brands. The ones I use, because they had different lines, and it's called the Whiz Colors. If you have, if you want to have multiple colors, otherwise you just get the Whiz. It's just going to have your standard light color, yellow to white light.
But if you want the disco party.
If you want the disco party, get colors, and you could still do the white light, but if you want to have...
You have tweens and you want to get rid of the ugly rope lights in all of their bedrooms.
Just put them in a couple lamps, it'll look nice, and then they can still have a practical light, and then when they want to turn it on blue or whatever...
Could you put them up top, too?
You can put them anywhere.
Yeah.
They come in all shapes. That's another thing. They come in all shapes and sizes. They come in floodlights. They come in candle shapes. They come in... they even have like smart rope lights too, which obviously
don't get those.
Don't get those. But it's just not, and they have manual remotes. So if you don't want to be shouting Alexa every time, they have a manual remote where you can program it and you can change it as many times as you want. It's really easy on your phone. And it's just 1 through 4, and you can have like the 1 be the lowest brightness, and you can bump it up as you see fit. Yeah. But it's just really nice to be able to control and dim all your lights, at night. And then if you're working on a project, you can bump them way up, or cleaning or something. So.
Or if my child falls asleep reading in his bed because he will not go to sleep, I can turn it off from my bedroom and not have to physically get up.
You can literally just log on your phone.
That's important.
You could be out. You can be, and that's the nice thing. It's Wi-Fi controlled. I
These
forgot
are life-changing.
So you could be in a different state, different country. As long as you have Wi-Fi, you can log in, and it will sync to it. So if you're gone on vacation, you want to turn the lights on.
You could do like Home Alone.
Yeah, you
and
could totally
put up the Michael Jackson on the train. Or no, it was Michael Jordan. Was it
Michael Jordan?
It was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
On the train.
Yeah.
And have a disco party, and no robbers would know.
Or if you have a family member coming over and they don't know you have these, you could play tricks on them. So like while you're gone.
No, that's really why you like them, right?
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. I'm definitely
Nice.
going to buy some now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, AK.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Alyssa.
Okay, mine is the boring because everybody else talked about something cool. But Scott and I, one of the few things that we watch together, TV-wise, is documentaries. I love documentaries. And one that I found fascinating, I was obsessed with all year, is Twin Flame University.
I haven't watched it. No, but I've read about it, so yeah.
Yeah, so Twin Flame University is this online dating cult, essentially.
Okay.
And they get you by, you log in and then you also have to work for the company. So that's by like training once you're in, and then they're so committed to making sure people find their twin flame. There's examples of people have broken up and there's two people who are in charge of it, and they're like, no, that's your twin flame. They have a restraining order. You just got to try harder. So then they go and they keep trying to reach out. Then they get arrested. And then there's like other areas of like assault. And then it's a little bit wild because there's a lot of women in Twin Flame University. So then they start saying like, oh, your twin flame is actually here. And they change the genders of the people inside the cult. They say, you're a masculine energy, you're a feminine energy, and then so you need to transition, and then they make them together. And then for the people who are also in Michigan, they're from Michigan, they live up near Suttons Bay. The founder, owners of all of this people are right here in our state.
It's like based in Michigan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. How are they not in jail?
Because they've tried to do this. They tried to put them in jail, but they have registered their company in like first it was like an organization, so people were paying to be a part of it. Now they're saying they're a church, so they've registered themselves as a church so they don't have to pay taxes.
And isn't the thought like the twin flame is like your soulmate or something like that?
It's your soulmate, yes. Yeah. There was one of them, it was like this guy was in jail, and they were like, he just happened to message her, and they're like, that's your twin flame. You have to go out and move by him. And then be with him and live. Yeah. People just do it.
Yeah, they just...
Right?
Yeah.
People just do it. It is wild.
What platform is that documentary on? Do you know, is it like...
We watched it, I think, on Netflix, but I saw that there's another one on Prime. I have not watched that one yet.
Yeah, but it's like about this... I mean, it's also...
Same.
I mean, it's the same people, maybe just a different... Yeah,
Wow.
I've not heard of this at all.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched it, but I've read about it, and it is like
I was
bonkers.
skeptical about dating sites in general, just because I feel like people in general lie, with pictures and stuff, or Photoshop and all that, and I've never really used a dating site per se. Or
They didn't exist.
I was like, no,
As you know, I've been around since 2000 in the family, so yeah.
I don't think they were around when I dated Scott. But that was...
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, but I didn't. But I'm not opposed.
Yeah.
I'm opposed... I'm
is
opposed now.
Is it set up as a dating site?
It is like a whole site learning scenario church.
Like, how would they go out and like recruit like new
There's
members?
like Facebook. There's
like ads that they're running.
Yeah, and so they're basically trying to get like the people who are in it. The people just log in all the time.
How does any cult recruit people?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and then at the end of it, it talks about how many cults there are in just the U.S. alone, which is like over 10,000 separate cults. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Man.
Aren't they supposed to be like secret though? How do we know there's 10,000 people?
Huh. Yeah, that thing's crazy. Yeah, I need to watch that. So it seems completely...
Very interesting. Yeah. Scott and I were watching it and we're like, this is just so wild. to think about that people actually believe in it.
Right.
And then to follow through, and they're just like, they believe in it so much that they've never met this person, and this other person's telling them, yep, you go be with that person. And that, I was like,
yeah, or it'd be
no.
like, just ignore that restraining order. That's really the one for you.
Right,
And you're like,
yeah.
I don't really get that vibe. No, you're good. That's,
You're not trying hard enough.
Like mail order,
Yeah.
spouse or something.
Yeah. Very good.
All right. Well, that's a good one.
That's very
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
I think it was
Outlaw edition.
the
Yes.
Outlaw edition. Yeah, exactly. So,
Volume 1.
yes, exactly. So, all right. We will see you again next time. Thanks. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to subscribe to us on whichever platform you listen to your podcasts. Also, I want to take a quick minute to thank Darin VanderMolen for all of his help behind the scenes. Without him, this podcast probably wouldn't even exist, and his help is greatly appreciated. Hope you have a great week, and we will look forward to seeing you the next time we go down the botanical trails. This has been a Shits and Giggles production.